Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're talking about the transition from going from the more sugary teas to the more natural teas and why this is important. Before we begin, I highly recommend you check out our back catalog of episodes, and I'll make sure that I put some up here that are important to this. Tea. Tea is amazing. Just like coffee, just like wine, just like cheese, just like a lot of things. And we have to realize that our experience with these things changes as we get older, and our experience with these things might be just the tip of an iceberg on something. I think of when I was a child, my dad used to go to Middle Eastern restaurants and grocery stores and bring back this paste called hummus. And this was way back in the early 90s. And he'd be like, Albert, why don't you taste this? He had a very thick accent because he was from Mexico. I was like, okay. I tried to go, this stuff's disgusting. But it developed on me. And now I eat it just all the time. But I didn't really have an entry point. And same for Middle Eastern food, Persian food. This is my favorite cuisine. Casey and I just went to Turkey not that long ago. Of course, that's not Middle Eastern, that's Near Eastern. But my point is, lots of times our idea of something is really just the tip of an iceberg of something. And we really don't have a full appreciation of it. It's like if you're always eating, like sweet and sour shrimp, you can't really say Chinese, authentic Chinese cuisine, right? So it's kind of the same thing with tea. A lot of people's experience with tea, and this was mine, certainly when I was younger, is just tea bag tea that has a color in front of it, right? This is green, this is black. You really don't know the difference. You steep it at the wrong temperature, you drink it, and this is your experience with tea. Then there's gonna be another group of people whose experience with tea are the lattes, like the matcha latte, which I'm not drinking right now. Right now I'm drinking a white tea. And so this, maybe the demo for this would be a younger demographic, let's say. These are ones that kind of grew up with Starbucks and drinking coffees and teas, mostly coffees, sugary coffees from Starbucks. When I was a kid, coffee was the drink of like gas stations that adults would drink, like Folgers, like all this kind of what we would perceive to be like low-grade coffee now. But coffee was the drink of adults. And then Starbucks rolled around in the mid to late 90s and started marketing toward the kids. And then they started ratcheting up, doing all the sugary drinks, the frappuccinos and all these things. And with that, matcha lattes, chai lattes and all these things as a way to suck in the kids because everybody likes sugar. So the other entry point for tea might be the lattes. And I would say this is a younger demographic and they love matcha lattes. They might like it hot or cold. They might like chai lattes, hojicha lattes, whatever, some latte that's a tea. And they're like, do you like tea? I love tea. Like, what do you like? I love lattes, matcha lattes. And they're like, okay, well, look, I get it. That is a tea. Matcha, we have plenty of videos here. We sell matcha, is a tea. In its purest form, if you drink it as is, like ceremonial way, it is the rawest ingestion of the Camellia sinensis leaf, in that it's the only tea that we actually grind up and we drink the whole leaf. Every other time in tea, we are drinking the infusion. So matcha is great. My advice though is go from the entry point. If your entry point is the sugary lattes, go from that and then get into the real world of tea. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One is just a health reason. So if you're drinking a matcha latte, yeah, you could do it with almond milk or you could use stevia or whatever, but you're still ingesting a lot of garbage, just a lot of extra calories that are not really needed. And yeah, everyone loves a matcha latte or a chai latte, but why do you really like it? You might like it for the tea taste, but really it's the sugar and milk. Just like the old joke, it's like anyone will eat anything that's deep fried or dipped in chocolate. So you're not really drinking tea, you're really liking the sugary concoction that it is. And we know today where obesity is the most it's ever been. We know that a lot of people who are pre-diabetic are diabetic. We know that all these things, high sugar diets, lead to cancer and lead to heart disease and all these things. We probably want to be weaning off sugar in general. So I would tell you guys, if your entry point is not the tea bag, the description I did at the beginning where you're just drinking crappy fanning tea, but your entry point is the sugary lattes and so forth, I would tell you, slowly wean off the lattes. And the next time you go to our tea store or another place, order just a regular infusion of a green tea, a black tea, a oolong, and maybe you won't like it the way it is, but give it time. Just like I did with hummus, just like I did with 90% dark chocolate. I used to couldn't stand that stuff. When my dad would bring that on his trips from Europe, I couldn't stand that stuff, but give it time. And I would say a good transition is going from the lattes and then maybe go to a chai that you do with milk and sugar, and that way you can do the kind of how you want to do your milk and sugar. And then when you're doing the chai or Earl Grey, whatever you're doing, milk and sugar or dark chocolate mint, dessert tea, then start slowly lowering the amount of sugar in each of your cups, and slowly go to a point where you're pretty much not drinking these things, and now you're going into, let's say, a Darjeeling, which is a black that you normally don't drink, with milk. Sometimes you drink it with sugar. And then eventually you're going to transition from that to the world of real tea. In the world of real tea, and I don't mean this from like a snob perspective, but the world of real tea is tea with no milk and sugar. That's going to be drinking the amazing oolongs that come out of China and Taiwan, or the amazing blacks that come out of South Asia, or the amazing greens that come out of Japan, that you don't drink with milk and sugar. And so I would tell you incrementalism is the key. If you're coming in as the entry point of milk and sugar lattes, the goal eventually for your health and for just the enjoyment, the true enjoyment of real tea, is to wean off of that into a la natural, like this, just natural white tea. Guys, post in the comments, what's your experience with this? Until next time, take care, God bless, and take care.